Welcome back, folks. In this video, I want to talk about the euro. In a previous video, you can go back and find that where I did some euro analysis. It was my last euro analysis. I said any pullback on the euro would be a pullback for repricing higher. And I mentioned that in that repricing high, we would take out all these highs, which we have done. Okay, so we've taken out all this liquidity that I mentioned that we would take coming into 1.10, okay, which is what we have done. Okay, so to analyze what's next for the euro, we need to take a look at the dollar index. Okay, so if we look at the dollar index on a daily chart, we can see that it's had a nice move down. Okay, and it's now starting to pull back as well. And I think we are in for higher prices on the dollar index for now. Here, I've marked out some volume imbalances. Okay, so you need to watch this chart to kind of work out what's going on in the euro. So I expect the dollar index to come back into this volume imbalance, and we should find support at that level. Okay. And then I believe that, let me jump down to a 4-hourly chart. Okay, so that's the volume imbalance from the daily chart. Okay, we also have a down candle here, which seems to be supporting. Okay, we also have volume imbalance on the 4-hourly chart. I don't think we will get down there, but if we do, then that'll be where we would support. Okay, so you need to watch the dollar index to understand repricing on the euro. Okay, so then I think the dollar index needs to come up to these highs where there is volume imbalance on this 4-hourly chart, and that should be the draw on liquidity. Okay. So I think that's where the dollar index is headed. As the dollar index goes down, euro will trade inversely. Okay, euro will move inversely. So as this is going down into whichever volume imbalance is going down to support, probably this one on the daily chart. Okay, then at that point, as this is going down, you'll get that pullback on the euro. Okay, and then when the dollar index starts to move higher, that's when the euro will move lower. So if we go back now to the euro, what I'm expecting is let's go to the daily chart first. Okay, so I'm expecting some sort of pullback. Okay, probably above this day. What day is that? That's Thursday. Okay, probably above Thursday's highs. Okay, at 109.50, somewhere around that 109.50 area. Okay, so I'm expecting that we probably pull back, and that is the time where your dollar index should be moving down. Okay, into the volume imbalance. Okay, so you kind of need to watch what's happening with the dollar index to understand where euro is going to pull back into. Okay, and then as the dollar index finds support and starts to move up, okay, starts to move up, euro from wherever it's going to move, pull back into, will start to move down. Okay, so that's kind of what you need to look at. Now, let's jump down to a 4-hourly chart. Okay, so I think this is liquidity, and we're going to come into this fair value gap. Okay, and possibly fully balance that. Okay, that's 109.497. So anywhere above there, I think is a good level to expect repricing from headed lower. Okay, now on a daily chart, we do have an order block. Okay, down here. So to me, that's where I would expect this market to move down to. Okay, we could also simply get a reaction from that level as well. Okay, because that is the last level of mitigation remaining. So we have buy to sell. Okay, then this buy, and we've got to come down and mitigate this level. Okay, so that could be the level we move up from. The distance between that high and the high of the bullish order block is only 13 pips. Okay, so you just got to watch that zone. Again, it comes down to what's happening on the day. This is coming down into that zone. Then it's all about timing. Okay, so if we're looking at euro, it'll most likely be at that 2:30 a.m. London session time. So if at 2:30 a.m. we're down here, we're starting to see a reaction, and that's the level, right? So that's how you kind of look at that. So that's what I do when I have two levels of interest. I then expect to look at that on the day and kind of make a judgment call on the day that is coming into that level. Okay, and time is important. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at for the euro. That there on a 4-hourly chart is a decent move, probably around about 100 pips. Okay, from that anticipated entry down to that level there. So that's a nice 100 pip move. I'll give you now something that I haven't done in my other videos, is where after that. Okay, so let's just jump to a weekly chart. Okay, let me take off all these lines. Now, let's look at what's happening on a weekly chart. Okay, so on a weekly chart, where have we come into? Right into this fair value gap. Okay, see how precise these markets are? Okay, so it's rebalanced, taken out all the liquidity. All these movements were engineered to be liquidity, because eventually the market had to come up into this area to offer efficient price delivery. Okay, now we ask the same questions. Where have we come from? Where are we going? Well, we've just taken liquidity and balanced inefficiency. Now the market is seeking the same in the opposing end. I would not be surprised if we get all the way down to the low of last week and back into balance this current open fair value gap, but we take it one step at a time. Okay, our current, my current projection is not that we go below here. We're sure we might, but you want the easy targets, right? They're the easy targets. Okay. Now, what I am expecting is from these levels, we actually start to trade back up higher. Okay, so that's something that I think is the case. So we'll come to this kind of zone, and then I do expect that we reprice higher and take out these highs. Okay, but we take it one step at a time. Right now, we are simply looking for a move down to, let me grab an arrow, a move down to this zone. Then we assess the market and see, do we see anything to go higher? I do believe that that is a very high possibility, but we don't need to anticipate that this early, okay? So I hope this video is useful. Monitor this market over the coming days, okay? I want you to focus on aligning both the dollar index and the euro, okay? Watch the dollar index, okay? Let's move to a 4-hourly chart. Watch the dollar index and learn how euro moves inverse to the dollar index. So if the dollar index is going to find support at this daily volume imbalance, that's going to be the opportunity for euro to push up into the 109.50 area while the dollar index comes in and has its pullback. Then, as the dollar index is rising, that's when we would expect euro to be falling. I want you to focus on this volume imbalance. This should act as the draw liquidity. We've got a lot of equal highs up there, okay? And that should act as resistance, and that would be where I would expect the euro to find support on its way down. So I want you to watch both markets, dollar index and euro. Okay, so by the time euro gets to this level, dollar index gets to this level, euro should be wherever it's headed, right? Whether it's this level, or under these lows. I'm not expecting these lows, but you watch the dollar index to make that assessment as the euro is moving down. Okay, then we need to see, does the dollar index actually find resistance here? Okay, and start to move down for higher time frame objectives, double equal lows here to move lower. Which would mean higher prices on euro from that zone. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for, but that's looking way too far into the future. All we need to do right now is focus on the current potential setup. Okay, so watch this market closely over the next few days into next week, expecting a pullback above this high here into the 104.50, somewhere around that zone, back down to this area that I've mentioned on the charts. Okay, hope the video is useful. I want to talk with you in a future video.